Hello, Doctor. I'm Kong Hao Yang, and I'm going to present my lab 2. The first part that I'm going to present is the basic HTTP GET response interaction. This is the packet that I has been captured using Wireshark. By looking at the first question, is your browser running HTTP version 1.0 or 1.1? And what version of HTTP is the server running? For the HTTP running on my browser, we can look at the OK message. The HTTP for my browser is HTTP 1.1, and for the HTTP of the server we can look at the GET message here, which is HTTP 1.1 as well. And for the second question, what language does your browser indicate that it can accept to the server? And this information we can look at the GET message, and we can look, and the accept language is English United States Standard. And for the third question, what is the IP address of your computer? The IP address of your computer can be looked at the destination of the OK message, which is 192.168.43.1 and for the IP address of the server can be looked at the destination of GET message, which is 128.119.245.12. And for the fourth question, what is the status code written from the server to your browser? The status code written is 200, which is with a description of OK. And for the fifth question, when was the HTML file that you are retrieving last modified at the browser? We can look at the OK, and the last modified is Wednesday, 2nd December 2020, 6 o'clock 59 minutes with 2 and 2 second GMT time standard. And for the next question, which is how many bytes of content are being returned to your browser? We can look the length of the content can be looked at here, which is the content length 128, and then the unit for the length is byte, which is 128 bytes. And for the last question, by inspecting the raw data in the packet content window, do you see any headers within the data that are not displayed in the packet listing window? If so, name one. By looking at first one, let us look at the GET message. This is the raw data for the GET message. This is the GET. After that, this is the information, the headers. By looking at the raw data, there all the information is there. And by look at the second message, which is the OK, you can look here. This is the HTTP, and then the date and the server, the last modified ETAG, and the asset ranges, content, keep alive, and the connection, content T type, and all the information is there. So there is no any header, there is no display in the packet listing window. The next part that I'm going to present is the HTTP conditional GET response interaction. This is the packet that has been captured for the part 2 by strictly following the instruction given. For the question, inspect the contents of the first HTTP GET request from your browser to the server. Do you see an if modifier since line in a HTTP GET? This is the first GET message in this packet. Okay, by looking at the HTTP, we didn't see any if modified sync line. So the answer for question A is no. And the next question is inspect the contents of the server response. Did the server explicitly return the content of the file? And so let us look at the OK message. The the response of the server is 200, which is OK. Then this tells us that the server did return something to us. Then in this message, with the content length is 371 and the accept ranges is bytes. This means that the server returns a file with a size of 371 bytes to our computer. This is the answer for question 9, and for the next question is now inspect the contents of the second HTTP GET request from your browser to the server. Do you see an if modified since line in the HTTP GET? If so, what information follows the if modified since header? Let us look at the second GET message. This is the second GET message. By looking at here, we did see that the if modified since message and the things that is after it is Wednesday 2nd December 2020 6 o'clock 59 minutes and 2 seconds and with a time zone of GMT. This is the answer for question 10, and for the question 11, what is the HTTP status code and phrase written from the server in response to this second HTTP GET? Did the server explicitly return the content of the file? Explain. Okay. This is the second response call second response to the second HTTP GET message. As we can see here, the status code written by the server is 304 with a meaning of not modified. And by looking at its content, we can see here there is no content length and content ranges. This means that there is no file return sent to do not return the content of a file to us. Therefore, we can say that the answer for question 11 is the status code is 304 and the phrase is not modified, and the server did not return the contents of the file. The next part that I'm going to present is part 3, which is retrieving long documents. The first step, I have to start up my web browser. My web browser has been started, and the next step is I have to clear the cache. Then I'm clearing the cache. After that, I have to start my packet sniffing, then HTTP. Then the next step is I will copy this link at my browser. Okay. After that, I will stop my Wireshark capturing. By looking at the questions, the question 12, how many HTTP GET requests did your browser send? The first until the third message are not related, so we only focus on the fourth and the fifth message. By looking at the fourth and the fifth message, there are only one GET message. Message has been sent by my browser. And what is the packet number for the GET message? The packet number is 1063. And for the next question 13, which packet number in the thread contain the status code and phrase associated with the response to the HTTP GET request? And this is the packet number for the response to the GET message, which for this one, which is 1104. This is the packet number. And the next question is, what is the status code and the phrase in the response? The status code for the response is 200 and the phrase is OK. And for the next question, how many data containing TCP segments were needed to carry the single HTTP response and attach to of the bills of rights? We can go by clicking the OK, a message OK. After that, we can look at this part, the reassemble TCP segment. By looking here, there are 4 segments. There are 4 segments were needed to carry the single HTTP response and the test of the bills of rights. The next part that I'm going to present is part 4, HTML documents with embedded object. This is the packet that I have captured for part 4. let us look at the question 16. How many HTTP GET request messages did your browser send? To which internet address were these GET requests sent? By ignoring the first message, we can see here there are 3 GET message words sent to the server, and all the 3 GET message have the same address of destination, which is 128.119.245.12. And for the next question, can you tell whether your browser downloaded the 2 images serially or whether they are downloaded from 2 websites in parallel as planned? By looking at the order of the messages, we can see that the first, our browser send the GET request to the server for the first image. After that, the server give our browser a response, and which allow us to download the first image. After that, our browser send the second GET request to the server for the second image, and after that the server send us the response for the second image. Then after that, only then we can download the second image. By looking at the pattern there, we can tell that we can say that says that the 2 images are downloaded serially. Okay, the last part that I'm going to present is part for HTTP authentication. The first thing I have to do is clearing my browser cache. So I will clear my browser cache. After that, I will start my Wireshark packet sniffer. I will choose the Wi-Fi and I will capture the packet. And after that, I will choose HTTP here. And the next step is I will copy this link and paste it in my browser. And the web page request for the white username and password, and I will paste the username and the password into the web page. Okay, it is done. After that, all I have to do, I just need to stop capturing the packet. And this is the packet I have captured. And if I am not mistaken, the first message should be ignored as it is not related to our lab. And these two messages are also not related to our labs. Let us look at the questions. The question 18 says that what is the server response status code and phrase in response to the initial HTTP GET message from your browser? The status code and the phrase. Take a look at this is the first GET request to the server, and this is the response for the first GET request message. As we can see here, the status code for the response to the GET request is 401, and the phrase is unauthorized. And for the next question, when your browser sends the HTTP GET message for the second time, what new field is included in the HTTP GET message? The new field, take a look at this part. This one, what's the new field added in this? Is it this one? Yes, this is the one. The new field that has been added in the second GET request. As we can see here, by looking at the first one, the difference for the first one and the second one is the second one has added the new field, which is authorization basic, and this is the what is the NC language that has been encrypted. Yes, this authorization means the username and the password that we have logged in. So the answer for the question 19 is the new field is authorization authorization field. Yes, the authorization field. The next part that I'm going to present is the reflection for this lab. By doing this lab, I get to apply all the knowledge and skills that I have learned from network communication classes in real life by using Wireshark packet sniffer application. I think this experience is very important for a software student like me, as this experience is the stepping stone for me to be succeed as a software engineer in future. Okay, there are 5 parts in this lab. The first part is the basic HTTP GET response interaction. From this part, I get to learn how to identify the HTTP version for my browser and the server, and also how to identify what are the language that my browser that the language of my browser that can be accepted by the server, and also the basic IP address of my computer and the server, and also how to read the status code uh, between my server and my browser. And all these things are very important. And for the second part, which is the HTTP conditional GET response interaction, in this part, I get to know how server interact with browser when our browser requests the same file at the second time with the concept of cache. This is, I think this experience is very important in helping me understanding the concept of the communication between the server and the browser. And the next part is the retrieving long document. In this part, I have learned I have know that in a situation that the browser retrieve long documents, the content of file is divided into several TCP segments to be sent to our browser for and this concept I have learned in the network communication class. And the next part is the HTML documents with embedded object. In this part, I get to know how the server reacts when our browser tries to download a file with embedded objects like images or video that is stored in other server, and how this file is sent to our browser, the order of sending we can, and as I what I learned in this lab, I get to know that the images that we downloaded from the server is in a serious order. And the last part I have learned is the HTTP authentication. In this part, I have learned that the interaction between server and browser, the at the protected website, how they react with each one another, and what are the status code return when our browser send the get request to the server. That's all for me. Thank you.